So, welcome back to the Australian Open, and it's final Sunday. And after a 74-minute encounter between Ihori and Esther Wardoyo, it's the women's doubles up next. Lai Pei-jung and Lim Chu-sian from Malaysia taking on Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Amalia Cahaya Pratiwi, the number 2 seeds. And this was their progression to the final. Lai and Lim with a 3-game epic encounter against Yung and Yung from Hong Kong in the semi-finals, and Kusuma and Pratiwi, the pair to end the Australian journey, I should say, of Mapasa and Yu, being the first Australians in the semi-final since 2010. Looking at the women's doubles ranking as of now, it's Iwanaga Nakanishi up top. 2 Indian pairs in the top 10 race of the finals, Krasno and Panapa and Jolie and Pulela. And look at that, 4 Chinese pairs, Lin Liu, Liu and Tan, Zhang and Zheng, and Li Wenmei and Liu Xuanzuan as well. Lai Pei-jung and Lim Chu-sian, as I said at the top of the show, a pair that's openly said that we were just going to have a bit of fun in the women's doubles. They both were in the mixed doubles, of course, and well, their journeys ended in the mixed doubles draw, but this, having a bit of fun, has led to the Australian Open final. They, of course, have known each other for before, but they've never played before, therefore they don't have a ranking, and they have no results so far. This is essentially their first tournament. I'm surprised that Pratiwi and Kusuma actually are getting an applause after what they did to Mapasa and Yu yesterday in the semi-finals, Aaron, but they have been fantastic players and number 2 seeds, and they've lived up to it.
Well, badminton is very ingrained in this multicultural city of Sydney. Indonesia is just a neighboring country. There's a big Indonesian crowd here, for sure. Every year we can hear them singing.
So this is going to be a tight affair, simply because Kusuma and Pratiwi don't really know what to expect. It's a scratch pairing on the other side of the nets. But a scratch pairing that have actually been playing pretty well. I mean, they haven't been guilty of some of the errors you'd expect from a pair that, because as I said, they both played for a while. They both know each other very well. They both decided to come together, and so they know where they're supposed to play on court. That's Zhang Xiying with assistant for the coin toss. Lim Chu-sian was only recently playing with Vivian Hu. Veteran doubles players, women's doubles players from Malaysia. But this is great, of course, for Malaysia to have a finalist. Lee Zijia, the other finalist they've got in the men's singles. But I think this one was a little bit more unexpected, Aaron.
It is unexpected that Yung and Yung didn't take out
number 3
Lai
seeds, yeah,
and Lim, because they had played a scratch pairing before in Kun Lok Yan and Sylvina Kurniawan of Australia.
So there you can see it, no ranking. I can't tell you what they've won because they haven't won anything, but I can tell you the last time Lai Pei-jung played women's doubles was the 2022 Commonwealth Games. That's 2 years ago. There's Lim Chu-sian, 30 years old now, and as you can see, he has played with Vivian Hu and has been as high as 15th in the world. That was actually back in December of 2022 as well. So this is essentially a pair that has been put together and transported through time for 2 years, and now they're in a final in 2024. They got a bye in round 1. Panda and Panda in 27 minutes from India, Hurova and Kantemir from Ukraine 37 minutes, and then 80 minutes against the Yung and Yung pairing from Hong Kong. came through in an epic. Is this going to be another epic? It's been two great three-game matches we've seen so far, 47 minutes and 74 minutes.
The other reason why I'm surprised at the Malaysians making it this far is because Goh Liu Ying herself has played women's doubles and it was fruitless.
Yeah. Well, Febriana Kusuma and Pratiwi didn't play last year. They were recently runner-up at the Thai Open. That was just a few weeks ago. Spain Masters as well, and also picked up semi-final third spot at the Thai Masters. So very well. They did very well in Thailand, the Indonesian pair. They've actually said in the press that because of those, well, just before we get into that, it's 3 Australian pairs. 23 minutes, 34 minutes, and 38 minutes. Straight games, haven't dropped a game. And were you surprised, Satyana Mapas and Angela Yu, taken out that easily?
Yes, completely. Completely. And that's not just partisan support.
No, absolutely. I watched that match. So Zhang Shiying in the umpire's chair. She's joined by Freak Koksalu in the service judge position. As I was about to say about Kusuma and Pratiwi, have gotten the press because of that second at the Thai Open and the Spain Masters and the semi-finals. They said they are desperate to be champions. That was the exact term. And this is, of course, their best bet.
They have more than a good chance of fulfilling that goal today. We pointed out earlier that the Indonesian coach had a long stint in Japan, and it was very apparent with this Indonesian pair that they have been instilled with that baseline women's doubles Japanese type style already, which was very hard for Mapasa and Yu to deal with, even though they knew about it, having played them before.
Yeah.
And I think it will be equally hard for the Malaysian pair to handle that baseline quality.
Well, yeah, Japanese women's doubles players, Wakana Nagahara and Mayu Matsumoto, Shida and Matsuyama. Lots of them. Iwanaga Nakanishi. I mean, you can sit here and go on. I mean, they're very well-known Japanese women's doubles players. So, challenge off the first point. This is something new for today. That's it. Well, they've been playing together for a while.
Unsuccessful. 1 challenge remaining. 1 love play.
Even at the World Junior Championships in 2019, they were partnered up. Kusuma and Pratiwi.
Service over.
It's 5 years. They've, of course, since then picked up 4 runner-up. I mean, that's why they want to be champions. They've actually got 4 runner-up finishes on the World Tour. 2022 Vietnam Open, 2023 Taipei Open, Spain Masters, Thailand Open, as I said, and now possibly here as well. They need to win. They want to win.
Service over. 2-1.
So the Malaysians will be banking on the whole idea of having Lai Pei-Jing there, where she would be quite creative in the partnership. She's got a good touch at the net. She will look to come forward.
Right now patrolling the back. Something she didn't have to do with the giant figure of Tan Kian Meng in the mixed doubles behind her. Lim Chu Sian taking over at the back. Lai Pei-Jing with the touches at the net. Flat defense for the Indonesians. Oh, welcome to women's doubles. Let's count the amount of shots in this rally.
I told you there was Indonesian support in the room. We can hear it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely I can. They are getting behind it. There were Malaysians as well. It was double cheers at the start.
You could be right. It could be Malaysians doing those cheering that we're here now.
That's nice from Lim Chu-san, but right now, neither pair on the 4th point being able to craft out a decent winning opportunity. And this looks very good for the Indonesians. But then settling back into...
There should be a slight parallel with yesterday, which is that Lim Chu-san's playing the Angela Yu character in the pairing. So if she can't
94 shots
or maintain this throughout the whole match.
No, I find that that would be a stretch. 94 shots is where we're starting with our longest rally tally.
Get ready to serve.
That is actually the longest rally I've seen this week. But I said I didn't watch that 80-minute match against the Hong Kong pair yesterday. Perhaps there was a longer rally in that. So Lai Lim are so far one enough at the start of this first game.
I know it's just early days, but I mentioned in yesterday's broadcast against with Indonesians against the Aussies in the women's doubles that the Aussies weren't particularly exploring the rear court in a active sense.
Well, that's actually what I was going to say. I said that if Kusuma and Pratiwi do want to be champions, they're going to have to push forward a bit more. And, you know, they played out that 94-shot rally as if it was their duty. You know, it was like an obligatory thing to do. I think you need to move forward. You need to start killing things. And you need to be putting a lot more pressure on if you want to be champions. It might very well be why they have been runner-up on four occasions so far.
And where I was going with that point also is that the Malaysians, at least in these first 7 points, were not letting the Indonesians come forward too much, or at least just impose themselves. Whereas the Aussies, they had their own plan, but the Indonesians were already imposing before they could implement the Aussie plan. So you have to fend them back, really, like mosquitoes.
Yeah, you do. You have to swat them away. That's a bit better from Kusuma. Looking to get on the attack, but again, playing the big... That's wonderful from Lai Pei Jing.
That's really wow.
6-2.
You know, Lai Pei Jing, as we said earlier this week, who had some personal heartbreak off court and has since said that she wants to play as many tournaments as possible, but is enjoying it. You know, I said semi-finals with Tan Kian Meng in the mixed doubles. Made the final here.
7-2.
So far, scratch pairing has been dominating simply because of what you said. They've been a little bit more front foot and a little bit more incisive. And we've got to remember that Pratiwi and Kusuma are by no means the #1 Indonesian women's doubles pair. That would be Rahayu and Ramahanti, I'm sure.
And in fact, not to place too heavy a point on it, I reckon if the Aussie pair looked at this match up until this point, they would have thought, oh, I could have done that against the Indonesians.
So Tana, Angela, if you're watching right now, that's what you do next year.
I'm not saying do that for the whole game, just to keep you in the rally, and then you can do your thing midway.
Well, I think also it comes down to it. I mean, it was a very overwhelming situation for Mopasa and Yu yesterday, being in that situation. So maybe they were showing a lot of respect to their opponents. And I'm never going to be one that says, well, you know, you just go up to these people you're respecting and then treat them, you know, as if they're not there. But that killer instinct can make all the difference sometimes.
Because your opponents, the Indonesians, they can sense when you're pressing, which is what the Aussies were yesterday. The Aussies were definitely pressing where they didn't have enough power to keep up. But they wanted to do what Lai Pei Jing is doing, which is when you know, live out a longer rally, suddenly something interesting happens.
Well, Lai Pei Jing for me so far in this opening phase of game 1 has been the most important player. Lim Chu-san, as you see, just keeps these rallies going. Lai Pei-Jing's movement has been good, and she's been looking for the winners. And there was that glorious cross-court that we saw earlier. But you see, even as a scratch pairing, because they know each other, they've known each other for a long time, and they both play doubles with different players, they know what they're supposed to do. Well, I think we might just have another long rally on our hands.
But the Malaysians definitely playing better than when they played the Hong Kong pair yesterday. I know they beat the Hong Kong pair of Young and Young, but it's a tighter affair. And I think they knew they needed that kind of tighter game plan or execution against these
they built
Indonesians.
on that. Yeah, you're right. So, Kusuma and Pratiwi giving it all they got, but 6 points behind. We thought we'd have a bit of fun. I'm never gonna forget that as a reason for playing. Oh, that would have been good.
Well,
Just
there's a lot
about
to be
foot off.
said for being light going into, psychologically light going into a final.
Not putting any pressure on, yes. And they never actually said how far they're expected to go this week. They just kind of played every game as it came, which is, I guess, the way you should be playing. See good movement there by Lai Pei-Jing as well. She has played a lot of badminton this week. So, Kusuma and Pratiwi beginning to cut into that lead.
One of the articles in last year's Australian Open magazine was about highly ranked players, world number 5s, world number 4s, world number 3s, world number 2s, who had reached their highest ranking and never won a major.
Wow.
There's even a world number 1
You know
who
what?
hadn't won a
that
major.
actually applies to another Malaysian, Aaron Chan So Yik. They didn't
That's
win
right.
a World
That
Tour
was
final
one of the examples.
for ages. They won everything else, essentially, and even got medaled at the Olympics, but they didn't win until it was the Denmark Open last year, if I'm right. That was their first title that they won. It's hard to win these.
It is
World
hard to
Tour
win the tournament.
tournaments.
The Chen Yu Feis, the An Se Youngs, that's
make it
all an
look
anomaly.
easy,
We
yeah.
just happen to see them a lot on TV court on finals day, but that's the anomaly.
11-5 at the break, and Lai Lim powering through.
And before we get the wrong type of comments on the YouTube channel, I'll clarify and finish my thought about the world number 1 who got there. They didn't not have a title, but they didn't have a title, or the person didn't have a title in the year that they reached number 1.
Yeah,
That would have been
yeah.
Lulan. Lulan had titles before, just not in the lead up to number 1.
You're still going to get the comments, even with that clarification. But I understand what you're saying.
It's not easy to have to get a title, so
It
we could have
isn't
seen
at all.
that with Ayahori, long career.
Yeah.
And
HS Pranoy, he was 30 years old when he picked up his his title in the end. And he's a capable player. He's a top 10, top 15, top 20 players we're talking about. You can't do it. I mean, it's an achievement if you get to semi-finals. Oh, that's a nice, easy kill. Is it? No. Picked up nicely by Kusuma. But it's been pushed out. So a combination of errors, lack of possibly killer instinct, and being pulled apart by positionally by Lim and Lai means that they are trailing, and they are trailing big here in the first game. I don't know what the precedent is about scratch pairings and how many have gone on and won titles as their first tournament.
I'll think about that.
You
in
have,
the
I mean,
meantime.
so you are the research man. You have great history in terms of things like that. But I'll let you boil that over for a bit. Nice touch by Beijing. Oh, Lim Chusan still finding an extra foot or so on that cross-court right to left. Well, for her, of course, it's going to be left to right.
And sorry, Angela and Satyana, for reminding you of yesterday, but I actually thought the both of you were somewhat capable of this, what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
And being in the Malaysian position, I thought you could do this.
But
and you probably can in the future.
But I said
just
the
not
difference
yesterday.
is that Lim and Lai have been in a lot of these high impact matches before, whether it's with different partners or whether it's well, to now it's with themselves, but it makes such a difference if you have a little bit more experience when you're doing it. I personally was very impressed with both of them in standing up and even just achieving the semi-finals.
And Lim Chusan made it to HSBC World Tour finals as well.
Yeah. Well, she's doing a great job right now at the back, Chusian, in terms of keeping the Indonesians on their toes with backcourt play. Just allowing Lai Beijing, as you see there, just to take up interesting positions at front court, looking for that. If she can find it, that was just behind her. But they're doing a great job, Lai Lim, in terms of either playing it ahead of the Indonesians or just behind them. It's forcing those big lifts. They can't get into an attacking position, and they're making a mistake. That's how it's played out.
Now, I haven't reached for the computer, G, but I have thought of a scratch pairing.
That's amazing.
And the badminton nerds will
93
know it better
shots,
because they'll reach for their phones, and I'm not reaching for mine. It's when Lee Chong-wei played a national tournament, and he played mixed doubles, and he won it. And he beat
I didn't
Goh
even
Liu
know
Ying
that.
and Chan Ting
That's
Soon.
amazing.
I think, yeah. I'm not reaching for my phone.
That is unbelievable.
But you put me
then,
on the spot.
Yeah, hey, Lee Chong-wei.
Mixed doubles, but you know he's Lee Chong-wei.
No, that's the thing. I mean, when I was a reporter, a sports reporter, he was the person I used to report on, of course, being Malaysian. And, I mean, some of the things Lee Chong-wei did was unbelievable. Not to mention 12 Malaysian Open, or 12 Malaysian Masters titles, I think it was, in the end. 3 silver medals at the Olympics, obviously because he, was playing Lindan. That must have been very frustrating for him, but a legend, an absolute Malaysian legend.
And in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah, and deservedly so. In fact, in essence, he was so much of a legend that it's actually caused a bit of a problem because all the other men's singles players since have been compared to him, including Lee Zizhou, we're about to watch. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
And Lin could do is they could do something he's never done, which is an Australian Open title.
Yes,
as we keep
there
saying.
you go, Australian Open title and as a scratch pairing. Well, that's great play from Lai Beijing again. She's certainly being the creative force up in mid-court and front court. Not getting clean winners, but doing enough to force the errors after Lim Chusian has been setting up at times 85 to 93 shot rallies.
I've thought of another one. I haven't reached for the phone or computer.
I can vouch for that, he hasn't.
Zheng Yu, Huang Dongping, Denmark Open.
There you go, Huang Dongping, I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised. She really should take that act on the road. 14-7, that one's gone right down the middle, and this... Wow, I mean, this first game, I don't know if you expected it. I certainly didn't expect it to be...
Not the score line.
No, not at all.
And no coach in the coach's chair for
right.
Malaysia.
I don't even think half the doubles coaches knew this was happening. That's the thing. They both came to Sydney to play mixed doubles. I think it was really decided literally a day before the draw, maybe on on the first day or even just a couple of days before.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't think it was in any way planned. And Jusian again setting it up from backcourt. It's been very strict roles for them so far. It's almost been mixed doubles like. Just that first point, I remember that Lai Pei-Jing was at the back. Well, I knew that disguised drop was coming at some point. That's probably the first time they've gone for the same shuttle.
Oh, she keeps it cool, Lai Pei-Jing. But she's seen those kind of shots before in mixed doubles.
Yeah, this
Partner doesn't keep her cool.
I'm scared to think about what the shot count was there. But we're averaging about 70 to 80 shots on these rallies. Best get settled in, people. Well, I mean, the other thing I'm wondering is if Lai Pei-Jing is serious about playing as much badminton as she can in 2024, whether this partnership continues. You know, in second half of the season after the Olympics at the Japan Career Open, or maybe even US and Canada, they're both not scheduled to head for the Olympics. So you've got, I think it's Kaohsiung, US and Canada, the three next tournaments on the calendar.
It was fashionable before to play doubles, the double-doubles, but in recent years, players have been concentrating on one discipline, perhaps to medal at Olympics or World Championships.
I honestly think, I mean, if you're certainly up and coming and a younger player, then you want to kind of get that sorted out. If you're 30 and you're 34 or 32, perhaps you've played this your whole life and you're thinking, well, as they said, let's have a bit of fun. What would be really amazing if Lai Pei-Jing then just goes to every single women's doubles player in Malaysia and starts playing tournaments with each of them. Never has a ranking because it's always scratch. 16-10, and
that would be hard for
that would be very, very hard.
For
but
her
it would
opponents.
Also be, from a journalist point of view, very interesting to write about. 16-10, and they've never been out of control of this first game. Oh, it's a nice shot. That's actually the first kind of attacking shot that has come from that side of the court.
Even though the Malaysians lost the point, viewers can learn from what Lai Pei-Jing is doing. What you want to do is you want to be at the height of the shot and hit it. You don't want to suddenly just crouch later. So you need to be reading the play all of the time, and you want to travel and hit the shot at the height of the shuttle.
The apex, it's true. Well, they've rescued themselves a little in this first game, but still not enough to just play out these rallies. Needs to be more attacking impetus. And if they want something from this first game, it has to be now. Left out, unforced errors. That's the other thing about linemen. They've actually been pretty accurate.
17-11.
Much less unforced errors.
And viewers at home might not realize that these independent players, they would have to call the travel agent to extend their plane ticket.
That's right.
Their departure dates.
I'm sure. I mean, travel agents must. As soon as, are you a badminton player? Okay, we'll keep some options open. One, they know they're going to get a lot of you know, flights from this because they're going to be on the HSBC BWF World Tour. That's 31 events on it. On top of that, changes, cancellation fees, this, that, and the other. 18-11, and the Malaysian fans in full voice here at the Key Centre in Sydney. Nice touch in by Lai Pei-Jing. Ooh.
And then rebalance nicely, the Malaysians.
Service over.
There was a slight change in their positional formation then. Lim Chu-san moving forward. But they adapted. That was well watched by Pratiwi. Young pairing, 23 and 24.
Malaysians so far keeping their side and their rotation around each other uncomplicated, but making things difficult for the Indonesians.
Well, they are team players, Kusuma and Pratiwi, gold medalists at the Asia Team Championships in 2022. SEA Games gold medalists in 2023. So I'll probably come in as the second doubles. So, 21-12. And a good solid run out for Lai Pei-Jing and Lim Chu-san. 24 minutes that first game took. Ready to do battle again, Lai Pei-Jing and Lim Chu-san. They head out on court for game two. Pratiwi and Kusuma out first, I noticed. Eager to get underway, and they've already got one hand on the trophy.
Second game. Level. Play.
Well, much to do for Kusuma and Pratiwi as they take the other side of the court. Not only is it a must-win game, but really, in all truth, they need to break into the style and pattern of Lim and Lai, because they didn't really do so in the first game. It's a great rotation by Lim and Lai. Lai Pei-Jing, probably from all the badminton she's played this week, knows exactly where she needs to be. It's a nice change of attack from Lim Chu-san. Lai Pei-Jing now at the back. Only the second time we've seen that today. Well, Kusuma and Pratiwi once again caught up in this rally pattern. They're just not able to get forward and start aiming down. Oh, that looks like Pratiwi that's trying. And Lim Chu-sian is immediately on the attack. Well, they're just not being able to reach the net, the Indonesian pair. Trying to attack from the back, that's gone long, so they have at least got a point. And even that's being challenged.
Another very early challenge.
Yeah. Same AM, first point, game 1. First point, game 2. They're actually looking out of breath now, good. I'm glad that these long rallies are beginning to take a toll, because we just saw with Ohori and Estebaldo, it took them 3 games to get out of breath. These ladies seem to be stepping up on court, 94 shot rallies. 103 shots, there you go, we've broken that, we've broken into 3 digits.
Well, earlier in the week, we were talking about this concept of weighting your shots suitably, and Lai Pei-jing, the smallest stature of the 4 women, quite easily.
By far.
Weighting it very well. And you have to actually be in the stadium, any stadium, watching live badminton to realize how hard these players are hitting. It's much harder than you think it is.
Oh, once again, oh, that was very wide, and Lai Pei-jing knows it.
I remember having watched for years on TV until I saw her live, Devi Susanto, All England champion. And I thought, oh, she's not hitting that hard. Then when I saw her live, I realized, wow, actually hitting. And I said,
you and I obviously benefited also from being able to get courtside as well. I mean, when you're, depending on where you are, but if you are, the closer you are to the court, they really do swat these shots. I mean, they really do smack them. It's one thing to know the speed of it, which we sometimes get, of course, afterwards. And, you know, TV does slow things down a little. Of course, the classic example of that is F1. You can never tell how fast an F1 car is going when it's on TV because the cameras are tracking it. A great move from Lim Chu-sian, always looking to get onto the downward angle attack. Something that Pratiwi and Kusuma can't do now. This big lift pattern that we're seeing means that tiny amount of wind that's blowing up the court is now working against Lai and Lim. That's 2 points from those 4 that have gone long at the back. So something for Lai and Lim to think about, work on. Start playing more of a mid-court game, perhaps. Oh, straight down the middle, good winner.
5-love.
Well, perhaps this is the Japanese women's double style of play that they're pulling out.
Well, I said we haven't seen it so far. They've been, no disrespect to them, almost sparring partners for Lai and Lim at times in these very long rallies. It's Pratiwi that has been getting a little bit more aggressive.
So is this the lull, the famous lull that all players, all sides go through? Is it for the Malaysians?
Oh, that's wonderful. That's more like it. Kusuma this time.
6-love.
They've been trying to get into mid-court and front court, and this time, success.
Line to receive.
I love that badminton chant because you can literally fit anybody's name in this. And let's go Lai and Lim, let's go. It's brilliant. And that's more like it. This is far more attacking minded.
Well,
Not
they did that with
allowing-
Pranoy earlier in the week. Let's go, Pranoy.
Yeah.
Victor doesn't have the copyright on that melody.
No, he doesn't. But I said all sports need a good chant that is universal, that can be applied across the board. This a much better start for Kusuma and Pratiwi. Benefited probably from a few mistakes and one there as well, early points, but now getting ahead, stepping forward and dropping shots into front court.
Oh, Lai Pei-Jing looks like the pseudo-captain of this scratch pairing.
Yeah.
I reckon she will decide when it's worth not trying so hard, perhaps, energy-wise, in this
Well, remember,
second game if they can't keep up.
They did have that 80-minute match against Jung and Jung yesterday. That was last night. So perhaps their lull has come a little bit earlier from, you know, we've seen a 93 shot, 94 shot, 103 shot rally. Well, they've got that first game in the bag, so at the very least, this is going to go to obligatory look at the lights as soon as you hit a shot like that. Sorry, just pick a light and look at it, really. Happens every time. But yeah, the very least it's going to be is a third game decider for them. So maybe they want to make their stand then. But certainly far more attacking by Pratiwi and Kusuma. Big mistake there.
She wasn't missing those kinds of shots.
No.
Earlier.
But in that first game, it was almost a mixed doubles formation. Lim Chu-sen at the back, Lai Pei-Jing at the front. That was a mid-court shot from Lim, and immediately you see a couple of cracks turning up. For a while, like it was in, but well marshaled at the back from Lim.
And the cracks we're referring to is this rotational footwork from the Malaysians. It's not only clocked by us in the commentary box, the Indonesians would have clocked it as well.
They're trying to adapt their game, Kusuma and Pratiwi, and that's good. Mistake at the back, attacking shots. I think they're done with the big, long, lift clear rallies. 11-3 at the break. Well, back on court for conclusion of game 2.
11-3.
As they get underway, I can tell you that the last Indonesian winners of the women's doubles, that was back in 2013. Vita Marissa, the famous Vita Marissa, with Aprilsasi Putri Jasa Variella. And there's never been a Malaysian winner in women's doubles. The Australian Open. So they might just be on the brink of serious history. Lion Lim.
It's a funny thing to say, but Malaysia hasn't had really a tradition of women's doubles, despite having this anomaly of a women's doubles world #1, Wong Pei Ti, Chin Yu Hui.
Yep, and I said, but you know, right now it's Pearly and Tina that are the leading women's doubles pairing, if not one of the only ones I can think of actually from Malaysia. So it hasn't been the most kind of. Oh, that's very nice from Lim Chu-sian, and Lai Pei-jing smartly takes her time with the reply. Lets her partner get up.
That was a very smart shot. It was very intentional to help her partner recover.
Now that rally is on again, but mistakes creeping in. I think if we had to say that one of them's more tired than the other one, I'd say it's Lim Chu-sian.
Yes.
Because she's been hitting the big shots from the back. That might be something for...
That was the parallel I was talking about between the Malaysians and the Aussies. That would probably happen as a theme in this match. We just had to wait for game 2 for it to happen.
Maybe they have blown themselves out. Oh, I kind of heard a challenge coming. Is that a medical timeout?
Bleeding.
I think it is.
From the dive, perhaps?
Well, we were caught out yesterday, I remember, with Sung Sho Yun. I mean, that happened so quickly. Well, it looks like it's probably a blister on the hand. Doesn't seem to be in much pain, but then Lim Chu-sian smiles a lot. I think it's a blister on the finger. 80-minute match yesterday.
She's a trooper. She'll carry on.
Lai Pei-jing, as you can see, gets to sit down.
Go Liu Ying used to like sitting on the HSBC
hold on.
seat too.
There's a discussion going on. Is that blood on that towel?
It's red.
It is. I think it is.
I just get your flow to into my palm.
Well, a little bit more serious than a blister.
Dry soon, right?
Just like yesterday, it will dry soon, but don't wipe it. Okay? Wipe it, will have to come back.
Well, what was very interesting in that chat with the medical staff was they said just like yesterday. I wonder if it's something she picked up. That looks pretty bad from that.
I think she might have had a medical timeout yesterday too. In that
Maybe it was for that. Well, that is.
And it could have been exacerbated.
Still bleeding. Can you wait for like 10 seconds?
Well, they are just now. This would be absolutely heartbreaking for them after the start that they've had. But that's what I was wondering, why it wasn't covered up. It's an odd place, just between the fingers. That's a very mobile part of the hand.
Are they taping 2 fingers together?
I don't know. I think they might have to cover it up. Because if it's right there between, at the base of the fingers, between the knuckles, then you can already see, it looks like the whole hand is actually being taped up. Like a boxer almost wrapped up. Bit antiseptic and a lot of tape as well. Now the question is it going to hold?
Well, Lim Chu-sian, typically more of a broad stroke rear court player.
So she's not going to really
so much
need that
fine motor control.
But it is going to limit, if she was put in that situation, any kind of net stuff, as you can see there, looking good enough. But you know what this is? This is life telling all 4 of these players to stay away from 103-shot rallies. That's what it is. It's actually life telling them, get on it, step up, try and look for the winner early. Oh, that's good to see Lai Peijing with a bit of an extra band-aid on top. Oh, that doesn't look good.
And that's a few knuckles.
Yeah, it really doesn't look good at all.
Seen better days.
Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that, and she is a trooper. Big round of applause from everybody here at the Key Centre.
Well, as the saying goes, Malaysia can.
That's exactly it. Malaysia can, but will they? That's the big question. So, 13-3 down, facing a medical timeout. Kusuma and Pratiwi with a very lengthy rest there. And looking more attacking minded immediately off the restart. So far good from Lim Chu-sian. She's right back in the thick of a long rally. It's that kind of shot where you're going to need your wrist.
That kind of shot.
14-3.
Perhaps even on the one before wasn't as finely tuned because it was bandaged. Got her in that troublesome situation.
Yeah, and this does, in part, explain this sudden change around in terms of point scoring, because I think she's probably been nursing that for a few points beforehand. Oh, that's wonderful from Lai Peijing. That's the kind of vision you need.
Genius.
She was actually behind. She was the rear player at that point. It's from the back.
But you could say it's probably a normal shot for her in mixed doubles.
Yeah, yeah, and from that area, mid-court as well. As I said, she's been playing a lot of badminton this week with the semi-final run in the mixed and the final run here. So she's extremely warmed up to the conditions in this arena. There's a little bit of sting taken out of these shots from the back now for Lim Chu-sian. That's a nice drop in by Lai Peijing.
The Indonesians don't really know what to do with the Lai Peijing drop shot, even when they get there. That's buying some time for the Malaysians.
You see, in my view, Kusuma and Pratiwi are actually giving some time to the Malaysians. I think there's a lot of scope for pushing forward still. Though they have got more attacking minded. That's gone long.
6-15. Service over.
So service back
16-6.
and a chance for them to seal this second game. Good run here on this serve. Will put them, hopefully, beyond reach. Certainly going to be an uphill task for Lai and Lim in the second. That's 17.
17-6.
Well, it's in line with the theme of Final Sunday here in Key Centre that we have a shootout in the third. It's 18.
18-6.
Well, it's not a complete waste. Lim Chu-sian should try a whole host of variety of shots just to get the feel back in the fingers. What's working?
Yeah, what
what's
can be
not,
done and
what can be refined or adapted.
has she taken that bandage off? Yeah, well, that's answered your question. What can be done, what can't be done. She's willing to play without a bandage because it was obviously limiting her grip. Nice shot there by Pratiwi. mistake out there, so this second game rapidly falling the way of the Indonesians. $14 game points. Beijing making one, I'm going to call it consolation stand in the second game.
But she'll need to keep those skills sharp for the next match. So
Well, exactly. If they were running out of breath or just generally fatigued at the start of this game, then all focus now has to be put on to the decider. Well, it's gone long. 21-7 in the second.
Second game, will prepare Kusuma and Amalia Pratiwi, 21-7. One game more.
Kusuma and Pratiwi on the nearer side of the court. Lim Chusian has, as we saw, dispensed with the bandage. He's got to play through this match, and for Lim and Lai, they're going to need to get a good start here.
Level play.
Far more attacking. Kusuma coming through.
doubles, it sounds too obvious to say. It's a teamwork sport, and I really like the fact that both pairs, they were having discussions in the interval. Malaysia has a player who was brilliant, but often written about for not really communicating with his partner. I don't know if anybody remembers Olympic silver medalist Chia Soon Kit.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, I mean, I do. I'm Malaysian. For everybody else on there, Chia Soon Kit is a legend unto himself, really.
That's right. But it was known that that was his weakness, that he wouldn't really discuss intra-game with his partner. And because of that, you could take advantage of that pairing when things weren't going right.
It is an unwritten, significant factor to know and keep that awareness going. Well, Lim Chusian has definitely lost about 30% power from the back, and I'm sure that's down to the wrist, to the knuckle, sorry. Lai Pei-Jing trying to take over. And this coupled with a little bit more aggression from Kusuma and Pratiwi. Means that it's 3-love. So, first chance at serve in the third deciding game. Wei Pei-jing again almost forced into taking the lead role here. Stake there at the back. And seeing that a little bit more from this nearer side of the court. Remember, of course, the tournament started with 4 courts at the Key Center. That's going to affect drift a little bit, but now down to 1. That's a lot of moving air around there. It's becoming a little bit more apparent that you can push it long from the nearest side.
And Malaysians really have to keep on the coattails of the Indonesians.
Yeah,
I
they
wouldn't
have
be
to.
as worried if the scoreline was reversed at this early stage for the Indonesians. But Malaysians key
Well, Lim Chu-sian again.
that they tailgate.
She was very happy with that point, Chu-sian, because it was almost a shot from the first game, and her power held up. Though it looks like Kusuma would have had a different view on that point. She certainly looked like she could have done a lot better.
That's what you were saying, lacking 30% on the power from Lim Chu-sian.
Yeah, you know, as I said, so far this third game is playing out the way you kind of expect it to. Remember, there's going to be a change of sides, the interval. And Chu-sian again, trying to change the point of attack. She's up front now. Ah, that's great movement and a fake out by Wei Pei-jing. Still no winner. Oh, that's very big.
I can't see any other way apart from a 100-shot rally for the Malaysians to just keep their hopes alive, because once you let the Indonesians forward, as you say, it becomes too powerful.
Yeah, and that's
a proposition.
Pratiwi again, who has really fired up this attacking intent.
She was well inside the double service perimeter. She had to go for those shots.
Oh, 6-3, that's the first sizable lead that we've seen. 51 shots, that's nothing for these ladies. I mean, what are they doing? But I expected something like that to happen with the injury to Lim Chu-sian, with the attacking intent from the Indonesians and general fatigue. I would have expected it to cut down by half. They're a strange pairing, Kusuma and Pratiwi, because they are actually almost carbon copies of each other. They don't, it's not one big smash or, you know, like a shot that kind of comes out. So Pratiwi's taking control here, but really they are very similar.
I alluded to that yesterday at the opening when I was asked for my thoughts. I said, oh, it's probably like Mapasya and Yu playing Angela Yu and Angela Yu.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's, you know, so it's very different on the Malaysian side, of course. As you can tell, Lim Chu-sian is a big power play, and she's going to really be upset with that one.
That's her bread and butter at that shot.
That's not only her bread and butter, it was under no pressure. That's the shot that haunts you. 7-4. Coming up to the change of ends and the break. those extra, if we can call them extra creative shots, mid-court and front court, are beginning to really trouble Lim Chu-Sian. The ones that don't use the shoulder, the ones that basically are elbow onwards. 8-4. Is that in? No, it's gone long.
But the creative smash from Lim Chu-Sian, that was useful. Just couldn't follow up.
Late take by Kusuma. And that's well left by Beijing.
Service over.
Well, step by step, inch by inch, they're closing back up.
So for Pratiwi and Kusuma, this is their best chance at a title, but I want to think more long-term. Because they play so similar, I'm still not seeing glimpses of what the development's going to be like.
Yeah, you know, it's very easy to say it because you've been runner-up on 4 occasions, therefore you deserve a title. But when you look at the way they play, you know, it is, you're right. Where do they go? I mean, the draw has helped them. The turnout, the attendance has certainly helped them. They've got a final to win. Go and win it. You know, just really set your stall up. And I'm happy they've got a little bit more attacking.
But I can't see how they're going to beat top 10 players like Jia Yifan.
Yeah.
Not that they can't, but I just can't see how, especially if they're having difficulty with the creativity of this scratch pairing.
In women's doubles right now, there's, you know, as we look at the 11-point break, 11-5 up, there's everybody else and there's Chen and Zhao. They're not going to beat Chen and Zhao like this.
And what they do already, taking no credit away from them because they are young and they will get better. I'm just looking forward to what it could be. Whatever they're doing now is done better by Tan Ling already and Liu Shengshu.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Really what I'm saying is looking forward for Kusuma and Pratiwi to carve out some individuality.
Yeah. Something that's uniquely theirs.
They don't have to do it today. They've got
No,
a different job today.
Of course not today, and it's looking very good for them. This is the conclusion of this women's doubles final. 1 game apiece. They're 11-5 up. 10 points away from lifting that trophy. Will be the first Indonesian winners at the Australian Open in 11 years if they do it.
Service over.
That's such a smart rally from the Malaysians.
11.
That's the kind of dimension I was hoping at some point to
You're
see
talking about
from
in
the
the future,
Indonesians. It doesn't have to be your signature style, but you want to incorporate a little bit of everything.
Well, maybe this first title win for them, if they get it, will have that catalyzing effect and try and push them. Certainly Pratiwi seems to be the more attacking player, and if she develops that area, and stays at the back a bit more, and Kusuma perhaps develops the net play as well, then they can default back to this.
When
But
they need.
but if they need to, they can push forward in those areas. That's another big dive from Lim Chu-Sian. shot from Kusuma.
They all know, all four know it's an important point. They're all invested.
Yeah, it's always good to see that actually. Women's doubles when all four players are tuned in. Lai Pei-jing the winner in the end.
8-11.
Well, it's psychologically important at the change of ends every single time you want to try and win the first point.
Well, job one for the Malaysians is tie it up. We've said that a couple of times today already.
Get a new shuttle.
And maybe I'll qualify that by saying that it seems too obvious to say, oh, we want to win a point. Everyone wants to win a point. But actually, when people are thinking about it when they're playing, there's a difference between wishing to win a point and intentionally wanting to win a point. You need to have the mindset. It has to be on your mind.
That's great from Kusuma.
Service over. 12-8.
So, on serve, Pratiwi. Chance to extend this lead.
Come here, please.
Well, well, well. Reminder to the Malaysians to get ready quicker. That was nicely anticipated by Chu Xian. Who might have lost a bit of sting in the shots, but her position is at least doing well. That's a big miss from Kusuma.
9-12.
Again, under no pressure. Nice touch by Kusuma. Pratiwi goes big from the back. Oh, that's a wonderful shot.
Service over.
She is the power player you're
She
talking
is.
about.
She's certainly the power. In fact, she's the one that broke them out of that, you know, that big lift clearing pattern from the first game. She's the one that started really pushing forward. Found a good angle there. Full length of the court. Chu Xian trying to get a bit creative. Lai Pei-jing popping up. I just think there's too much onus going on Lim Chu Xian, the injured player at the moment. Unfortunately, that's how they won the first game.
It's looking more and more like the semi-finals yesterday against the Aussies.
Yeah. 14-9. Looked for a second, that might be shading out. A bit of confusion between Kusuma and Pratiwi. Oh, wow. They've kept it alive somehow. Badminton will drive you crazy.
Malaysia did 98% of that rally correctly.
That was wonderful recovery by Kusuma and Pratiwi to keep that alive, though. And then look, it's always that last shot. 15-9, and things getting decidedly dicey for Lion Lim. That slice of history, being the first scratch Malaysian pair to be the first women's doubles pair to win the Australian Open, is getting further and further away. Mistakes creeping in for Lim Chuxian.
16-9.
It's good movement by the Indonesians. Pratiwi now in her favored spot at the back, moves forward. In fact, that's all four players moving quite well. It's a very well structured rally.
Well, Pratiwi and Kusuma are still trying to get, as a side goal, Lai Peijing into the rear court, but not willing to play ball with them on that goal.
Yeah, she's been dodging that outcome.
Such a yo-yo, Lai Peijing just keeps coming back to the front.
16-10. One last burst from both pairs. Well left by Pratiwi.
Service over.
They're closing in.
17-10.
I remember they were desperate to be champions, and I wonder if that's now playing on their mind, because they need to play these last 4 points with the same focus they've been putting in. Don't get distracted. And before you know it, you might just be standing on that podium. 18-10.
18-10.
This is good. This is really the least complicated don't get distracted scenario they'll see in their careers.
It could be a lot worse.
Service over.
That's what I mean about not being distracted.
11.
Took her eye off the shuttle, under no pressure. Better, much better from Pratiwi.
19-11.
She has been the spark plug. Certainly looked close, but
12.
one left.
19.
Chance to go big for Pratiwi. That's gone out. That's all she had to do.
Service over.
Didn't have to get the winner, so it is 8 championship points.
12.
Neither of these pairs has put in a 7-point run. So the odds greatly favoring the Indonesians.
Service
But not
over.
yet.
13-20.
Desperate defending. Has that gone long? It has.
Challenges called out.
challenge coming. How long do you have to wait? Lion Lim just not ready to hand over this championship just yet. I think it might be long. It is very long. And that's it. They've done it after a long, long time. 11 years since Indonesia have won the Australian Open, but more importantly for these two, a first title in 5 attempts.
It was a surprising out of the blocks sprint from the Malaysians, but Indonesians winning the marathon.
Yeah. And of course there were injuries along the way. There was some very, very long rallies. But they've done it. They've ended Indonesia's drought for a title here in Sydney. Well, Lion Lim can be happy with the fact they took a scratch pairing all the way to the final. And I wonder if we will see them continuing on this partnership. The second half, real second half of the HSBC BWF World Tour 2024 season. There's confirmation of it, 12-21, 21-7, 21-13. And Kusuma and Pratiwi, champions in the women's doubles, and they will now make their way over to the trophy presentation.
Gentlemen, please welcome the finalists of the women's doubles to the stage. I'd like to welcome Tony Mintara, CEO of Mintara Group, to present the medals. Ladies and gentlemen, your runners-up, Lai Pei Hing and Lim Chiu Sien from Malaysia. to welcome Paul SATHIO, Chairman of the SATHIO Group, to make the presentations to the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and 2024 Women's Doubles Champions, Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Amalia Cahaya Pratiwi from Indonesia. Finally, I would like to call Julian Sara, Senior Product Manager from Group A, SEB Australia, TIFA, to present the last gifts. Ladies and gentlemen, your women's doubles finalists.
So congratulations to the women's doubles champions. Up next, it's the men's singles. Li Zijia against Kodai Narioka. Don't go anywhere. So we move on with finals Sunday here in Sydney, and it's the men's singles up next. Li Zijia taking on Kodai Narioka. That's their progression to the finals, and it could have been Chinese Taipei